Hey everybody! In this episode, we're going to be restoring this antique oak roll-top desk.
Most furniture made prior to 1970 was a lot better quality than today's standards. Have a family heirloom or doing a furniture flip? Let us help you with that. Give your furniture some love.
As you can see, this old desk has seen some better days. It's got some shrinkage cracks here. The finish looks like to be the original finish. As you can see, it's had some potted plants put on top here, and it's kind of stained and shrunk in the wood, so we may have to replace that board. We'll see when we get it apart. We got to do some work on the canvas here because the canvas is breaking loose, so that'd be another thing we got to do. The whole thing is pretty loosey-goosey, so we're gonna have to take the whole thing apart and get all those joints re-glued and get it all back structurally sound again. So the first thing we need to do is get this thing disassembled. Okay, the back's all removed, and now we just need to remove these little plugs here, little stopping blocks that allow that writing surface to slide out the back. So we'll just pry those out of the groove. There's one. One set. Two. All right, should be able to get that slid out now. Just like so. On each side, there's a big screw that we need to take out, and that'll allow us to remove this egg and dart molding here, and that'll allow the roll top to drop out the front. So one screw on each side should do it. There's that piece. Now this part should just come right out. There we go. Okay, let's get this cabinet knocked apart. There. Nails. Okay. Set this one over here.
Come around on that side.
And around here.
Alright.
And we'll get the other side knocked off the same. Okay, I got to get this old twill tape off of here, get some new stuff to put on it. I got some nice heavy duty 4-inch we're going to put in there in its place. That'll get it all nice and sturdy. So what I'll have to do is peel all the rest off of there. And it's been put down with hide glue, so I'm going to have to get a sandpaper out and sand these back flat again, and prep the new wood for the new strips, and then get them glued on. This top shelf here As you can see, it's had some plants sitting on it, and it's stained the wood up pretty good, and we got a little shrinkage issue there. I thought I'd like to replace this board, but I was going to try to see if I can salvage it first, see if I can pull some of that stains out. So what I'll have to do is, first thing is get all that finish removed and see what I have. This is the pull-out riding surface flipped upside down. As you can see, it has some shrinkage going on here, so I got a crack that's opened up, and also a gap between the front piece of trim. So what I'll need to do is I'll pull these two sides off and rejoint these edges, and I'll probably have to add a new strip onto the back to make up for the shrinkage, and get it all glued back together and all one piece again. So the first thing I'll need to do is pull these stops off, and then the sides. Okay, let's get these knocked off of here. Okay, let's get this front molding off here. Looks like it's already loosed a little bit. Looks like it's all nailed on. Tease a little bit. Right here, there we go. All right, got that piece off. Now we need to work on getting these sides off. Best way, see if I can catch that edge. Not sure how loose this is. Yeah, this may take a little coaxing with a chisel. Let me grab that. Let's try here. Got that one off. Looks like someone's added some nails to that as well. Let's see if we can get this other side off. All right, here we go. More nails. All right, now I need to get these two edges squared up and trued up again. I will do that on my joiner here. I'm gonna get these two glued back together. Okay, both edges are now true to each other, so I'll be able to get these glued back together as one piece. Okay, you can see I have these nails someone's driven in there. I could push them back out the same way they came in, but sometimes doing that, you'll chip out the wood around the nail hole. So what I like to do, if I can, is try to pull the head all the way through. That way it doesn't worry about chipping out the hole. Okay, you see I have these all in clamps. I re-glued this joint here with the tight bond wood glue, and I've glued the two ends on only about this far at the end. That's how it was originally glued on with the hide glue. So I used a liquid hide glue on that since it bonds well to the old hide glue. This was a new joint, clean joint, so that's why we used the tight bond glue on it. So the reason you only glue this portion and not the whole strip is this wood has to expand and contract and slide in this groove. Okay, to catch y'all up, I got all these slats removed and I got all the glue cleaned off and sanded with 80 grit on a sanding block, so they're nice and flat. You can see I've got it clamped up to the bench here, pulled tight with 2 clamps. And I have a square here to make sure they stay nice and square. And so I've brushed a thin coat of hide glue down on top of these slats where the tape is going to go. So now next step would be to brush a thin coat on these and let these dry for a little bit until they're dry to touch. And then I'll come back through, flip it over, glue against glue, and I'll put an iron to it and it'll re-soften that glue and stick it down tight. Okay, I got all the timbers all glued on last night and they're all dry. Everything seems to be working fine. And this morning I left a little extra canvas hanging over to glue on this bottom plate. So I got it glued on and clamped down right now, drying. As far as this top plate goes, I got the finish removed of it to see what we have as far as stains. You can see there's some pretty good stains, some good cracks, a little bit of warpage. I'm going to sand this down and use some oxalic acid on it to see if that will pull some of those stains off, see if we can salvage this original piece. So as far as the writing surface, I got the front piece glued back on and the back piece glued back on. And it is all done and ready to strip. So move on to the next part. Okay, let's sand this top piece down to see what we got. Well, I got this top piece all sanded down using the 80 grit on a sanding block. I've got a lot of the warp out of that. You can see there's still some stains left that will show up in the finish. So what I plan on using on that is some oxalic acid, as you can see on the package. That's how it's spelled. And I'll mix that with some hot water to a saturated solution and brush that on the piece and let it sit. And hopefully that'll take those stains out. Okay, got some hot water here in a cup and some oxalic acid crystals. So we're going to just mix some of that together. Just a little bit there. And what you want to do is keep stirring it in until it no longer dissolves. That will mean you have a saturated solution. Get it all stirred up. Put just a little bit more in there. I buy the oxalic acid off of Amazon. If you're looking to buy some of that, it's kind of hard to find sometimes. Okay. I think we're about there. So just go ahead and just brush this on the piece and let it do its job. You always want to do the whole piece, not just the stain, because it does brighten up the surrounding woods as well. So you want to make sure you at least do the entire piece that you're trying to fix. You don't have to do the entire piece of furniture, but at least the piece that has the stain on it. And just kind of brush that on, and maybe I'll lay this flat so it doesn't run off. Flip it around. And just put a generous amount on there and just let it sit. And dry. And then once that dries, it'll turn back to a crystal form. So what you want to do is take some wash it down really good with like a hot water and rag. Try to get as many of those crystals off there as you can. If you don't get them all out and you're sanding it, they can get up in the air and make you have some sneezing fits. So just a word of caution on that. Anyway, we'll just let that sit and see what happens. Okay, it's time to get this piece all glued back together. All right, I got it all clamped up with glue, nice and square. As you can see, I've added some glue blocks to all three levels. That will give it a little bit extra strength and longevity. So, as you can see, the top piece, after bleaching it out, most of the staining has gone away. I think I should be able to get by with that. So next step is to take the clamps off and test fit the timbre. Okay, I got the timbers all put in and fitted, and they seem to be working just fine. So next step will be to strip the finish off and do some minor repairs here and there and get it ready for finishing. Okay, all the repairs are done, so the next step on this is to get this old finish removed. So let's start doing that. And remember your safety glasses and your hand protection. We'll just start from the top and work our way down. Okay, I got all the finish off, everything. These timbers were kind of a pain. I wish I would have stripped those before, while I had them in pieces, but nevertheless, I got them all cleaned up. So it doesn't look real pretty right now because it still has a lot of finish residue here and there. So next step will be to fill some of the nail holes and get it all sanded down and ready for finish. All right, I got all the nail holes filled and cracks filled. I guess next step will be to get it all sanded down. Okay, everybody, I got it all sanded down and holes are filled, everything's smoothed up, and it is ready for stain. So the stain I'm going to be using is a Varathane brand, and the color is Gunstock. It is an oil-based stain. All right, the stain's all dried now. Our next step will be to apply one coat of lacquer sanding sealer to this to seal down the color and get it ready for the grain filler. So let's go ahead and get that sprayed on. All right, the next step in this is to apply the grain filler. The product I'm using is from Mohawk. It's a medium walnut color, and I'll show you how that's applied. This stuff here is about the thickness of a peanut butter, runny peanut butter, but kind of chocolate looking. But it doesn't taste like chocolate. So what you do is you just start brushing it into the wood grain, like so. And that's going to fill those open pores that's in the wood. Oak's got quite a few pores. Walnut, mahogany, other woods, they do have that open pores that need a filler to get it to smooth up. So anyway, you just work at a section at a time and brush this stuff on. And then we'll wipe off the excess and move on to the next section. Okay, before you let this stuff dry on there, you definitely don't want to get it to dry on there. Just go ahead and get it wiped off. I use just recycled terry cloth towels for doing this. Just kind of, I usually sometimes like to work across grain first and then finish off with along with the grain. So just want to pack as much into those pores as you can. And this will change the color of what it was before. It'll make it a little darker and a little bit more brown color, which is the color I'm shooting for. All right, start with a fresh one here. Okay, get the edge. Now this will have to dry at least 24 hours before you put any lacquer on top of it. So we'll get this all coated, then we'll start coming back tomorrow and we'll start finishing it. The grain filler is dried, and I've come through this morning and I've wiped it down with some naphtha on a rag to get a little bit more of that residue off. So it is now ready to put the sanding sealer on it and start building up coats of lacquer. Okay, here it is with one coat of sanding sealer. This is going to be the final color that you see. So we've got to get this prepped and get it ready for the final lacquer. To prep this, I'm going to use 400 grit wetter dry sandpaper and also 4O steel wool. So we'll get that sanded smooth, and then once that's done, it'll be ready for lacquer. And this is the lacquer we're going to be using. It's a satin made by M.L. Campbell, and just a regular nitrocellulose lacquer. I usually use 1/2 sheet of 400 grit, and then I will tri-fold it onto itself, and it'll be easy to work with. All right, I got all the lacquer applied to the cabinet. Now I need to dress these back panels. As you can see, they had a lot of cracks going through those from shrinkage and age. I have stabilized all these cracks with a thick super glue. Now I need to put some finish on these. The part that shows on the front, I've stained that a dark like it was originally. And so let's get some lacquer put on these, and these will be ready to reinstall. The reveal. And here's the finished product. All shiny and new looking. I shined up the hardware and I found a key that fits that lock. I've also added 2 knobs to the pull-out writing surface. You can find these knobs and many other parts on our Annie's Home Store website. So feel free to browse everything that we sell on there. So it turned out pretty good. I'm pretty happy with the way it looks. That old board on top was pretty rough, but I was able to salvage that. So got the cubby holes inside. All look nice. Pull out writing surface. So I think the customer should be very happy with this. Thanks for watching this video all the way till the end. If you learned something from it or enjoyed it, please give us a like. To see the future videos coming down the pipeline, make sure you subscribe to our channel. Give your furniture some love.
For hard-to-find hardware like these, check us out at annishomestore.com.